The cafe bustled with the comforting aroma of coffee and chatter. Rain streaked the windows, blurring the outside world. At a small, secluded table, two figures sat facing each other. Years had passed since their last encounter, etching lines on their faces and a palpable tension in the air. Emily, as Sarah. It's been a long time. Sarah nervously clutched her cup, her heart pounding like a drum against her ribs. Michael, his gaze fixed on the swirling patterns in his latte, seemed lost in a world of his own. The air hung heavy with unspoken words, the weight of their shared past casting a long shadow over the reunion. Michael. Yes, it has. Sarah cleared her throat, the sound unnaturally loud in the quiet cafe. Michael finally looked up, his eyes, once filled with warmth and laughter, now held a mixture of sadness and apprehension. A flicker of recognition passed between them, a painful reminder of the bond they once shared. Their conversation was hesitant at first, filled with awkward pauses and forced smiles. They spoke of trivial things, the weather, their work, carefully avoiding the elephant in the room. But the past was a ghost that refused to be ignored. Sarah's thoughts drifted back to that fateful night, the night their friendship had shattered. She remembered the bitter argument, the harsh words exchanged, and the feeling of betrayal that had followed. Michael, too, was haunted by memories. He recalled his own anger, his pride, and the guilt that had gnawed at him ever since. Years might have passed, but the pain of that night lingered, a constant ache in their hearts. They had both changed, matured, but the scars of their past remained, a constant reminder of their mistakes. The weight of their unspoken words hung heavy between them, a barrier that seemed insurmountable. Each stolen glance, each hesitant smile spoke volumes of their regret and longing for a resolution that seemed impossible. As the afternoon wore on, the dam of silence finally broke. Sarah, unable to bear the weight of her guilt any longer, finally spoke the words that had been trapped inside her for years. Emily, as Sarah. I'm so sorry, Michael, for everything. Her confession hung in the air, raw and vulnerable. Michael, caught off guard by her sudden honesty, felt a wave of emotion wash over him. He had longed to hear those words, yet now that they were spoken, they felt both liberating and terrifying. Michael, I was angry, but I was also wrong. I should have listened, should have trusted you. The words tumbled out, a torrent of regret and remorse. For the first time in years, they spoke openly, honestly, their words a balm to their wounded hearts. The cafe, once a symbol of their estrangement, now became a sanctuary, a safe space to confront their past and seek forgiveness. As they delved deeper into their memories, sharing their perspectives and acknowledging their mistakes, a glimmer of understanding began to emerge. Emily, I realize now that my actions, fueled by fear and insecurity, hurt you deeply, Michael. Michael, and my anger, it blinded me to your pain and vulnerability, Sarah. The conversation was painful, a raw and honest confrontation with their past mistakes, but it was also incredibly cathartic. With each shared memory, each tear shed, the wall between them began to crumble. They began to see the events of that night, not just from their own perspectives, but through each other's eyes. Emily, I see now how much we both suffered. Michael, yeah, the anger and resentment that festered for years, it's starting to fade. The anger and resentment that had festered for years began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of empathy and compassion. For the first time, they saw not just the mistakes, but the human frailty and vulnerability that lay beneath them. It was a turning point, a shared recognition that healing and forgiveness were possible, even after all these years. Forgiveness, Sarah realized, wasn't about condoning the past, but about releasing its hold on the present. It was about acknowledging the pain, learning from the mistakes, and choosing to move forward with an open heart. Emily, I understand now, Michael. Forgiveness is the only path to peace. And as she looked at Michael, his face etched with remorse and a flicker of hope in his eyes, she knew that forgiveness was the only path to peace. Emily, I forgive you, Michael, she said softly, the words carrying the weight of years of unspoken pain and regret. Michael, and I forgive you, Sarah. Michael's eyes welled up, his voice catching in his throat as he whispered. The words hung in the air, fragile yet powerful, a testament to the human capacity for forgiveness and redemption. It wasn't a magic eraser, erasing the past, but it was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild the bridge that had been broken. The air, once heavy with tension and regret, now held a sense of release, a lightness that came from speaking their truths and offering forgiveness. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the cafe floor, Sarah and Michael knew that their journey was far from over. The past couldn't be undone, and the scars would always remain, a reminder of their mistakes and the fragility of human relationships. But there was also a sense of hope, a fragile seedling pushing through the cracks of their broken past. Emily, we've faced our demons, acknowledged our pain, and found the courage to forgive. Michael, yes, and even though the future is uncertain, we have a newfound understanding. They had faced their demons, acknowledged their pain, and found the courage to forgive themselves and each other. The future was uncertain, but as they walked out of the cafe together, the setting sun painting the sky in hues of orange and gold, they carried with them a newfound understanding, a shared history that had both scarred and shaped them. And in the quiet space of their forgiveness, a fragile hope bloomed, a testament to the enduring power of human connection and the possibility of healing even the deepest wounds.